Hey, it's Eric, and I'm going to review the Seiko Captain Willard. You're hearing helicopters, and I didn't put that sound in there. That's actually a heliport, and I'm here near Battery Park. There's a heliport here, so there's helicopters. I don't know if you can see them or not, landing and taking off here all day long. And I think it's really appropriate that right across from this heliport is the Vietnam Veterans Plaza. I wanted to open it here because there's so much reverence attached to that watch for me. I love Apocalypse Now, and I love the videos that people have done, but for me, I think one thing, I think these guys, it could have been, and it probably was, the most significant purchase of their life. It's an expensive thing for them to buy at the PX. And unfortunately for many of them, they died with that watch on their wrist. You can't get more serious than that. You just can't. You know, you can argue the point about tool watches all day long. These guys bought this watch because it was the best watch that was available for them in the conditions that they were in. And it was the Seiko Willard. There's also another thing. There's a memorial that you walk through here, and I found this one. It was the youngest person to die in Vietnam, and he was in the Marine Corps, and he was from New York City. He was 15 years old when he died, and he doctored his papers and went to boot camp, Paris Island, at 14 years old. 14 years old. So Private First Class Dan Bullock, right here. Youngest person ever to die in Vietnam from New York City. And as a side note, my brother went in the Marine Corps in '76 at 17 years old, and my mother had to sign some things to allow him to go in. And I remember I went to Paris Island, North Carolina for his graduation, and I begged my mom to buy a Marine Corps ring. It was a globe and anchor. She did. Now I wish instead it was a Seiko Willard, that's for sure. I think he does too. He loves watches. So I've always admired him for being a Marine. I've never said that probably to him, but now he's going to see this. I'm going to talk about the features and benefits of the watch. We're going to take a deep dive into the subway, that is, and get back to Little Italy and review the watch. So here's the watch. Let's just do a quick review on this. Case size 42.7, the thickness 13.2, which is fantastic. The lug to lug, the magic thing about Seiko and comfort, 46.6, sapphire crystal, Lumibrite, silicone strap, crown obviously at 4. And great thing about this watch is, I know there have been some challenges with Marine Masters even. This thing is really easy to screw in and screw out. Winding is really smooth. It's really, really nice. Which brings me to a really important thing is that, you know, the movement. 70-hour powers are fantastic, great. And the way I understand it, and you know, from the history of the watches, they are pretty much indestructible. So that's good, because you're not going to get accuracy out of this watch. I'm a fan of the watch. I like it. It's my watch, you know, but you're just not going to get accuracy out of it. I had my watchmaker take the case back off. I do think that's kind of cool too, that the case back lines up every time you put it on straight across. I hate when the case backs are, you know, different angles and stuff. So I had my watchmaker, you know, dial this in. Great, you know, 2 to 4 seconds, excellent. The problem is moving it in positions. It's not consistent. You know, sure, flat like this, great. Crown down, nope. Up like, so it's just, you can't, you know, you can't dial it in multiple positions. You just can't do it with this watch. So it is an indestructible watch, and it's keeping pretty good time for me, but you don't buy this watch for accuracy. You buy it because you like it. It's cool, the heritage, it wears well. Let me put it on. It wears so well. I mean, you never feel this. You don't feel anything. The watch is so comfortable. It's amazing. It really is. And the first time, I actually ordered a bunch of straps for this. And I have to say that I haven't used any of them. I put them on and I took them off and put this back on. I absolutely love the strap on this. It's amazing. I don't have a problem with the keeper sliding. Other people have said, don't have a problem. So I think it's a really super cool watch, super comfortable. A couple of other cool things about it is Seiko bezels. You know, I'm a huge fan of Seiko bezels, and I'm also a fan, I know this is kind of hard to believe, but I am a huge fan of Rolex bezels. I love their 120 click, and I love the Tudor 60 click, the ceramic ball bearing that they have in there. There's definite finite clicks. And this is just a different beast. I've said it before, it really is. It's just super smooth. It's great. I just love Seiko bezels, especially the higher end that you get. So for me, the problem with this watch is that you end up going down a rabbit hole. You'll start looking at the original 6105, 8110s, Vietnam era stuff, and you start realizing how much those are, and you're like, well, maybe I should get one of them. And then you see how bad condition and how much the good condition is, and then you start looking at the other models because they've had so many of them. I understand why the Seiko guys get upset because they come out with so many Captain Willards and they're limited editions. I think they had the 55th anniversary, which is a blue, same exact movement, numbered, everything to I think 2,500 or something, and more expensive. And then they come out with this. There we go. Outside, you got the sirens. New York City, sorry. It's a great watch, but you got to know what you're buying. You're not buying it for accuracy. You're buying it for all the other reasons why. And for me, it is where you put a watch on and you either bond with it or you don't. That's just the way I am. I can tell you right away. And what's strange is I can look at a watch so much, magazines online, those type of things, like, oh, I want that watch. I'll put it on. If I don't like it, I know right away. I don't understand people that have to wear it for a while to figure it out. I know immediately if I like a watch or not. And this watch is cool. I like it a lot. And then of course, the heritage of the watch. It's just one of those watches that has unbeatable heritage, and I do understand, the Francis Ford Coppola, Apocalypse Now, Martin Sheen, this watch wouldn't be what it is today without that movie. But let us not forget that this was actually used as a tool in Vietnam, and that people, had no choice but to buy the best that they could for the conditions that they were in, and this was one of them. So this is a watch with real heritage. People, you want to talk about diving and all that, that's great. It's a 200-meter diver. But, I didn't even say that. The funny thing is, it's a 200-meter diver, but this thing is, so crazy full of heritage. And Blancpain and everybody else talk about their diving heritage. Listen, this went through a war, one of the most tragic wars that we had, and it was a choice of soldiers because this watch was the best choice that they had because they actually worked in the conditions and the environment that they were in. So, cool watch. I think it's a buy for the watch. It's great. I'll do a lume shot. I don't even know why I do that anymore with Seiko. Really, you don't have to, it's just Lumibright. That's one thing Seiko gets super right every time. It's like, I don't know why they can do such amazing lume, and then I'll buy another brand and I'll be like, God, the lume just isn't great. The lume is always fantastic on Seikos. I do believe that it gets better the more upmarket you go. So if I had my choice, I'd have the SLA033 with the 8L35 movement, and that would cost me over $4,000. Essentially the same watch. Better finishing, Zerazio finishing, and the 8L35 movement, over $4,000. So I think it's a great watch to have. I think everybody should own one of these. I think it's super cool. You either bond with it or you don't, but give it a shot. Just don't expect it to be accurate. It's not about that. It's just not. It's not. So thanks so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe. Thanks.